Welcome to my desk. My name's Keon, and today I'm going to be drawing a Bob Ross painting, who is a really great guy, and the original ASM artist, in my opinion. Alright, let's get started. And I just want to have fun with it, as Bob Ross would like. And I'm just starting with this big tree he's got in the foreground. And I'm actually kind of working backwards, or opposite, to how he would have done it. Because he painted the backgrounds first and then built on top. But because I'm not working with the same medium, I gotta do it this way, I think. And Bob Ross used a technique that he learned from his teacher. This guy, I can't remember his name now, but it's like a wet on wet method. I'm just going to go over this, or do the trunk now. But yeah, so he would paint over his canvas with liquid white, to keep it slick. And just build on top and blend while he was painting. This allowed him to paint really quickly. He would finish like a medium-sized painting in like 30 minutes, which is really cool. But I wouldn't say that his work or his style or even his method or anything I try to emulate. But I do find his, very calm nature and, his love for animals and beautiful landscapes very inspiring and admirable. And I'm just going over these green areas with another green to create the indication of depth. Again, this isn't how he would do it, but I'm just doing my own interpretation. Actually, it's kind of sad. The teacher that taught Bob Ross this technique of wet on wet kind of turned against him after the popularity of the show, and they kind of had a strained relationship, even though he mentioned him several times on the show as like a great teacher. But I guess he didn't like that Bob Ross had become more popular for what he deemed his technique. It's really sad, but also dumb because it wasn't his technique. This is something that's been done since like Italian Renaissance kind of talk, but whatever. And the mountains in the background do have this purpley look, so I think I'd do that, but the trees do as well. So I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna do the trees and separate them from the mountains. I'm not sure exactly what's the best way. There was also like some other kind of legal battle with the Bob Ross estate after he died. His family didn't really get a fair share from what I understand, because of his investors, his producers, who he started the company with. They made the argument that they were more entitled because of their contribution financially, which is sad to learn about. But to be fair, I don't really know all the details, so I'm not gonna judge too harshly. And I did hear that Owen Wilson is going to be playing him in a movie, which I think is pretty good casting, I guess. He's got the voice, southern twang. Yeah, I'm just trying to create the outline of the lake in the middle, the hidden lake. And I think, yeah, most of the rest of this is going to be just green. Even though in the painting it's more yellowish. I do have yellow, but I don't know. I don't think that would look that nice. Now that I got this, I can kind of add little details here and there. I don't want to be too heavy-handed with it, but I just don't want it to look too flat either. And sometimes Bob Ross would actually bring little squirrels and little critters to the show and show them to people, and I thought that was really cute. And something that I found really interesting reading about him was that he started out in the military. He was a drill sergeant, which I can't really picture, you know. And he talked about how he had to be that kind of yelly guy, you know, that you see in movies and stuff, which is so antithetical to who he was on The Joy of Painting. I guess he just really didn't like having to be that way. So he just went the complete opposite route. I'm using this blue from another marker set because I don't really have a color that would work good for the sky and the sea and with the water brush tips that I've been using. So I'm just going to use this alcohol-based one for the sky, and then I'll switch back. I actually find that sometimes when I mix the two, it creates interesting effects. So that's cool too. Happy accident, as Bob Ross would say. But one good thing that did come out of his military career, he was stationed in Alaska and just really inspired by the landscape there, which is why most of his paintings are in Alaska, or, you know, that type of landscape. And he always has, a tree. I think I read that there's like 90% of all of his paintings have at least one tree, which, that's commitment. Happy little trees. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna try to do this darker blue for the tree line, even though it doesn't really match the original, but I think that's okay. I can just have fun with it. Alright, I think I'm pretty much done with most of the main details. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill in all this leftover white space with green, and then fill out the details, or, some more details darker with a dark marker. Getting kind of hungry. I'm gonna have to eat something pretty soon. Just a little bit here, a little bit there. We'll see how it turns out. Why not some here too? Alright. I think this looks okay. It's kind of a fun little exercise for me. Oh, maybe I should put more green over here. Yeah. Alright. Well, yeah. There you go. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know in the comments which Bob Ross episode is your favorite. There's really good ones. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you.